Hello Internet, and welcome to a new tutorial. Today I want to talk about sequencing and grid synth for the first time since I've started this channel with the Virus A tutorials. I'll be discussing the subject in a darker/forest track context, as I've mentioned in my Forest Bell tutorials that I made like a couple of weeks ago. You can find a link for that tutorial right in the description. Now, the focus in here is to cover the basics of sequencings that I wish I learned when I've started producing music. So you can consider this tutorial as the first in a new series of videos covering just this topic, things I wish I learned when I've started producing. Now, before we dive into this tutorial, if you'd like to support the channel, you can consider becoming one of my patrons, buy my presets on Gumroad, or just leave a like, comment, subscribe. Things like that helps the channel a lot. Now, with that said, let's dive into this tutorial. So here we are in Bitwig, and I've already created a 16 bars loop. Now, here's how I like to work. Just to put you in context, I will create a 16 bars loop, which I consider the bare minimum to start a track. And then I'll start adding sounds and create a sequence that I will build the track upon it. So for this, as I said, we have this 16 bars loop. We have kick and bass, drums, and drum effects. So for the kick, I've used one of my template kicks. I made actually a lot of these, and they help me kickstart a track. Maybe I can polish them and create a Kick 2 preset pack. If you'd like to see such a product, please leave a comment down. And also I can make a kick masterclass to complement my bass crash course that I made a while ago. So also, if you'd like to see such a masterclass, leave a comment down. So the kick sounds like this. Pretty basic. And for the bass, I've used one of the bass lines from my latest Serum preset pack, Fragmentation for Serum, that I made with my friend Mutelian. Sounds like this. So together, they sound like this. Okay, pretty nice. And we're also in the kick of D. So yeah, we're in the darker. I'm actually a little bit out of my comfort zone doing this. So yeah, bear with me. It's too dark for me. I'm a C major happy guy, you know. So anyways, for the drums, really nothing too special. Closed hi-hat, open hi-hat, and some snares. We have this. So with the kick and bass, we have this. Pretty basic, just to kick off a sequence. And for the drum effects, basically we have a big clap with a lot of reverb, a crash, reversed crashes, and everything together sounds like this. Now we're gonna start talking about actually sequencing stuff. So when you think of music, it's all about questions and answers. So in a Psytrance track context, we basically have a lead that is going to ask questions and a lead that will answer it. So basically, the bare minimum to kickstart a sequence is having two leads, question and answer. So I'm going to add an instrument track in here, and I will load an instance of Serum in here. And I'm going to choose a lead from my Fragmentation Serum pack that just got out called Boog FM. So if I'll add my rhythmizer clone that I made in Node Grid, I made a tutorial about that. You can check it down in the description. And if I'll add a long MIDI pattern with the note of D, we will get something that sounds like this. Okay, I'm going to add 1/8 note in here just to give it a little bit of groove. And what I'm going to do is I'll record an automation of me playing with the play me knob, which is basically the filter cutoff. Perfect, we've just created a main lead that will be asking questions. Now what I'm going to do, I really love working with audio. So I'm going to take this space macro in here, which controls basically the delay, And I'm going to bounce this MIDI clip in here with the automation that I just draw for the cutoff. Okay, so now we have this. Perfect. Now I'm going to add just a tiny bit of delay to give it some space. And if you're a follower of this channel, you know that I really love send effects. And I've already set a send effect in here with a cowboy on it, 1/8 dotted, with a little bit of feedback, full wet. I'll send a tiny bit portion to the delay. We'll get this. Perfect, just enough to give it some space. Now we have this main lead, let's add an answer to it. For this, I'm going to add another instance of Serum and another preset from Fragmentation for Serum. So for this, I'm going to use a preset called LD for lead dribbler. And since it's supposed to answer the main lead, I'm going to draw small patterns of 1 bar that will be basically the answer. And before I forgot, another clone of the rhythmizer. So we have this. Cool, you can give it maybe a little more flangy layer in here. Pretty cool. Now the most basic way to add an answer is to keep the main lead running for 3 bars and the 4th one will be the answer. So let's just do so. I'll cut this portion of sound and I'll mute it for now. Okay, perfect. So now I've just created a really simple question and answer. 3 bars question, 1 bar answer, 3 bar question, 1 bar answer, etc., etc. Pretty nice, but it's way too repetitive. So what I'm going to do to spice things up, I'm going to add a 3rd lead, and this 3rd lead is going to announce the end of this 16-bar loop and actually give energy to the next 16-bar loops, if that makes sense. To do so, again, I'm going to add an instance of Serum in here, a preset from the same preset pack. And this preset is going to be from the ops called Shankaskank. And this preset sounds, if we take one of these 1 bar clips in here, sounds just like this. So what I'm going to do, just to break the repetitivity, this 1 bar clip in here of the answering lead, I'm going to move it 1 bar to the left, like so. And I'll mute this section. And the new lead that I've added, I'm going to put it right at the end. So now we have something that sounds like this. Since these leads are all based on randomness and sample and hold, we don't really want that. I'm going to draw 1 big pattern here. I'll bounce it and then I'll cherry pick the parts that I like the most from it. So let's do this. So 1 bar loop, add it in here. If I'll press Alt and Shift, we can scroll in this clip to find the right place that we need. Pretty cool. By the way, we need an EQ on this channel. I'll just add an EQ plus and take off these nasty lower frequencies. Cool, now we have this. These 2 clips are basically the same to give us this repetitivity, and this clip is something different, and this clip is something different, just to add an unexpected part, if that makes sense. Okay, so now I've bounced and cherry-picked the part that I like, and now we actually have this sequence going on. Now, the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to reactivate these portions from the lead asking questions. And what I'm going to do, I'll take them really low, something like this. And this will actually help us keep the flow of the track, because if I'll just mute them, you will feel that something actually broke. But if I'll keep them just like this with like really lower volume, we will actually not break that flow, if that makes sense. So now we have this. Okay, perfect. So yeah, this is how we create a really simple sequence that will act as the foundation of our track. And yeah, with this is the end of this tutorial. I really hope you've liked it. I really hope you've learned something new. And yeah, see you next time.